So we are back again with another video on the channel, and today we're going to do another episode of Arsenal Transfer News Daily. We're going to look at all the latest news with all the new players linked with Arsenal, or the contracts, or with the move away from Arsenal. So let's get straight into it, talking about that man once again, Yves Bissouma. Now, we have talked about Yves Bissouma quite a lot over this transfer window, especially in some of my early videos, because Yves Bissouma was one that was linked very early on. In terms of, as soon as the season ended, we were just linked to him straight away, Yves Bissouma. And Yves Bissouma, he is, in my opinion, a top player. We're already getting Ben White from Brighton as well. We're linked to Tariq Lamptey as well, who is from Brighton. So we're linked to quite a lot of players over there at Brighton. And I must say, look, I want Yves Bissouma a lot. I think he'd be someone I'd rather have instead of Locatelli. But again, we really want Locatelli for some reason, which is why we're going in for him, which is why we've had that bid accepted of 40 million euros, and which is why Yves Bissouma is a potential target. And we could be bidding for him if Locatelli's thing doesn't go as we expect it to. So I think Yves Bissouma will be the next target if we can't get Locatelli over the line, because other targets such as Eduardo Camavinga, it's not going to happen because Real Madrid, Manchester United, Paris Saint-Germain all have an interest. It's not going to happen. And the other option, I think easiest option for us to get done this summer is Yves Bissouma, as I said on the screen. And Arsenal are trying to reignite their interest because they are struggling to get a deal done over the line for Locatelli, not because of they can't agree a fee. They have agreed the fee. It's just that they can't get the player to come to Arsenal, and that's a big stumbling block because the player's going to play for you, not the club. So, they can't convince Locatelli because he wants to go to Juventus, and fair play to him. As I said in my yesterday video, go check that one out. That one's done very well. Thank you so much for the support. But you can't blame the guy. And with Yves Bissouma, I think he'd be the ideal player to play next to Thomas Partey, and you could have Sambi Lokonga and El Neni to be back up to him. I would be happy with that personally. And I think we need to get Yves Bissouma in. I think 30 to 35 million pounds would be enough to get the deal done. They've just signed Mwepu from, I think I'm saying that right, Mwepu from Salzburg. A lot of people are saying he's a very good Zambian midfielder, and he could be the potential replacement to Yves Bissouma. We saw that a few weeks ago when that deal went through. And I think with Yves Bissouma, there's a good opportunity we can get this deal done, but we'll just have to see what happens, and we'll just have to wait and see with Yves Bissouma, I think. I think if Locatelli doesn't go as to planned, we go in for Yves Bissouma, and we'll just have to see what happens with that. But the next bit of news I want to talk about today is of this man here, Emile Smith-Rowe. Now, Arteta was speaking after our loss to Hibernian the other day, and he suggested that 100% Smith-Rowe is staying. He ain't going nowhere, and that's what he suggested. And Fabrizio Romano, among other people, was suggesting that Emile Smith-Rowe is set to stay at the club, which is what we've known for quite a while now. Emile Smith-Rowe is set to stay and commit his future to Arsenal and sign a new long-term contract to keep him at the club. I think up until 2026, if I'm not wrong. I think 2027, I'm not too sure. But he has currently 2 years left running on his current deal, which has caused interest from Aston Villa. But I'm hearing that that's really just agent talk. I think they're probably interested because what I'm hearing is from some Aston Villa fans is that they want Grealish on one side, Buendia on the right, and then they want someone in the middle, which they want to be Emile Smith-Rowe behind Ollie Watkins. What a front three would that be? Buendia, Grealish and Smith-Rowe. Aston Villa are trying to move quite mad. They put in a bid of £30 million, then they put in a bid of £35 million. Both got knocked back by Arsenal. Apparently, some reports by Aston Villa, some of the Aston Villa side of the news are suggesting that Arsenal do have a price, and which, if that is met, that ridiculous price, that they will be willing to sell Smith-Rowe. But again, I'm convinced that would be upwards of 70 to 80 million pounds, even with 2 years left on his deal. And I think even if he signs his deal, it's going to be much more than that. And I think Smith-Rowe is someone I would consider untouchable. We shouldn't be looking to get rid of Smith-Rowe because I think he's a top talent, and hopefully Arteta uses him correctly next season because we need to get the most out of him. Again, we saw he scored against Hibernian. I know it's just pre-season, but I see a lot of talent in this kid, and hopefully we can get the best out of him next season because he, again, such a top player, and I'm so happy we're finally getting him tied down to a new deal. To be honest, I wasn't ever worried he wasn't going to sign a deal because, again, he is an Arsenal lad, come through the academy. He's had a breakthrough season. He's getting a lot of minutes. It's not like he's not playing. So it's good that he is signing this deal and staying with Arsenal for this foreseeable future. Players like him, players like Martinelli, players like Saka, Players like, Gabriel, Detainey, all these young players we have in the club, we need to nurture and build around them. And Smith Rowe is just one part of that building block. And hopefully we can do that because he is such a top player. And that is the news on Emil Smith Rowe, as he is set to sign a new deal with the mighty Arsenal. The next bit of news we're going to talk about is Joe Willock. Now, Joe Willock, as you can see there on the screen, is set to go on loan again to Newcastle, this time on a season-long loan, not a short loan, on a season-long loan. It's just a simple loan I'm hearing, which kind of baffles me, because I think the point of that short loan was that he would come back, get some invaluable experience, and then maybe either get reintegrated into the side or be sold. But he's getting loaned again, which for me doesn't make sense, because we're sort of giving in to Newcastle's demands of, look, they can't afford to pay 30-40 million pounds for him, also we'll just loan him. It doesn't seem right to me, in my opinion. Again, it just shows that Arsenal are just weak mentality, can't get the money for their player. If Hoff and I managed to get 40 million for Joe Linton, why can't we get... If Joe Linton's 40, this guy should be 90. Obviously, it doesn't work like that, but, we should be able to command a fee for Joe Willock. If it's not Newcastle, some other club. Why isn't another club interested? Because he did so well for them. He had like 7-8... He was crazy good. 7-8 goals in a row. Maybe like an Everton, maybe Aston Villa. Anyone could be coming in for him. But no, it's going to be another loan deal for Willock. And it's not the worst thing that could happen, because again, he could do really well again and we can get even more money from him next summer. Who knows? But I thought this summer was the perfect opportunity to get rid of him, especially if we want to get our targets like Yves Bissouma, maybe Locatelli, whoever. Maybe it would be a good opportunity to cash in on him now, like we did with Martinez. He did very well, then we cashed in on him. That sort of thing. But looks like it's not going to happen with Joe Willock, and he's going to go on loan. Okay, fair enough. Let's just see how he does. Wish him all the best. And I'm hearing this deal is pretty much done and dusted. And again, let's just see how he does. To be honest, you can't really judge right now, but I'd rather have sold him. But leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Are you happy with the loan? Would you rather see him go? I'm confused. But yeah, moving on to the next one is, we are going to be, if I can get him up right now, Sam JOHNSTON, the West Brom goalkeeper. I quite like Sam JOHNSTON, actually. He's quite a good goalkeeper. I think he made, if I'm not wrong in saying, the most saves last season in the Premier League. I think he's a very good goalkeeper. Now, West Ham have had a bid rejected of £10 million for him. West Brom are holding out for close to 20, but I think a deal could be agreed in the region of 15, maybe a few add-ons involved. But, they are relegated. Sam JOHNSTON, because how well he did in the Premier League, you'd probably want to go to a better club, and you can't blame him. He's a very good player. But yeah, Sam JOHNSTON as a backup, would you want to come in as a backup to Leno, or will he come in knowing that maybe he could challenge for that number one spot? That's sort of what worries me in this situation, is that what would his role be? What is he being offered? Would he come in and be told, oh look, Leno's untouchable, you can't get anywhere near him? And maybe that's what's putting off other targets like Matt Ryan, like Onana, and that's why we're having to go in for the likes of Ramsdale, Sam JOHNSTON, etc., if you know what I mean. And Sam JOHNSTON, look, we don't have Europe, so he ain't going to get much game time. I think he'll know that. But £15 million on him, or should we go for Onana? I would rather go for Onana, but I wouldn't be against the signing of Sam JOHNSTON. I think he is a very good goalkeeper, and look, if we could get a cheap one deal done for him, I don't think it'd be the worst thing, because I think he is a very decent goalkeeper. But again, I'd rather go in for someone like Onana, more European experience. He could actually challenge for that number one spot, whereas this guy is literally just going to sit on the bench and do absolutely nada. But we do need a goalkeeper, because Runarsson, I think he's off to Turkey. Matt Ryan's off to Sociedad. Okonkwo, as we saw in the Hibernian game, very shaky. You'd be a decent number 3 option, but we need a number 2. A number 2 that's actually going to challenge for the number 1 spot. And I think Onana's perfect for that. But I wouldn't be against Sam JOHNSTON. But leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. That is it for today's video. If you have enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.